Hi, I'm Tory Bruno. I've been a rocket scientist for 40 years, and I got to tell you that every single day has been an adventure. I have gotten the opportunity to do just amazing things. I have slept on a torpedo. I have shot a bullet out of the sky with another bullet. I have stood in the middle of Armageddon with all of its terrifying and awesome power. But I have also sent a spacecraft into orbit around the sun, the fastest human object in the universe, flying directly through the literal atmosphere of the sun. There is no career like a career spent in service to this great nation, service to the awesome cause of exploration, and service to the great calling of human dignity around this planet. And now, on the burn sequence, I'm going to pull that curtain back a little bit and let you look inside. So welcome to our show, and welcome to the burn sequence. We've got a really fun show today. We're going to talk about human spaceflight, and I have absolutely the perfect guest to do that. And you know, it's just such an inspiring thing when we think about people in space, working, exploring, doing science, but it's really more than that. You know, there's always talk about, people versus robotics, but of course there are places where it's impractical to send humans, maybe inadvisable, even impossible. And so we send landers and probes and robots, but no robot is ever as broadly versatile and capable as a human being. And so really that is always our ultimate goal. And it's not just because it's cool and inspiring, it's truly important. When we are finally, routinely tapping the resources that are in space, even right here in our own backyard, it will change our human destiny really forever. And so it really matters. Now, I don't want to take anything away from my friends and colleagues who've been to space as tourists, because it's just an amazing experience. And almost all of them have used that to try and inspire other people, especially young people, to go and do that and to think about space. But also, all of those that I know have had at least that moment of clarity when, and some of them, by the way, when they're strapped on top of the rocket in the couch, realizing that they're sitting on top of 1 million pounds of, explosive rocket fuel. They're about to be blasted at extreme, insane velocity into an environment that is far more hostile than, going to the wreck of the Titanic. So it takes a little bravery to do that. But there are also professionals who go to space to do really complex, even dangerous jobs that require thousands and thousands of hours of training and years of experience to do that. That's the kind of astronaut we have with us today. A real sort of OG, right stuff astronaut. Someone who began their career as a naval aviator, as a fighter pilot, combat veteran, someone who's landed on a carrier more times than there have been humans in space. Another very dangerous thing. And that wasn't exciting enough, so he went on to be a test pilot flying experimental aircraft, and then, of course, finally, a career astronaut. So he is a real American hero and a good friend. Butch Wilmore, welcome to the burn sequence.
You are so kind. Those are kind words. I appreciate that, and it's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh well, thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
All true words.
Like I said, you're very kind.
All right, Butch. Let's start.
Privilege to serve, Tory. With all that you stated, privilege to be have the opportunity to be the person riding on the pointy end of several launches and the work that we're doing in space, doing the International Space Station. It's just a privilege to do all of that. And it's a privilege not just to do that, but to be involved in the human spaceflight program with all the thousands of individuals across this nation that are coming together to make all of this happen. Your company, ULA included. So yes, sir, it's a privilege.
So what was it like flying on that Atlas?
That was my third launch. I'd launched on the space shuttle. I'd launched on the Russian Soyuz, and we launched on the Atlas and dual engine Centaur. And every single launch is different. Different physical, how it feels, different, how the spacecraft performs. In simulations, we always have deviations a little bit. It's always correcting back to, you've got crosshairs in your attitude direction indicator, and it's always correcting back. And it was that way on the launches on the Space Shuttle and the Soyuz. Little deviations correcting all the time. Not with Atlas. And not with Centaur. Tory, I kid you not, it was down the center the whole time. And I commented on it as we're going. I'm like, we rock on exactly down the center. And you got to think there's got to be some deviation going on, but it was so minuscule, it was imperceptible to the crew on board. And it was from start to main engine cutoff, both, like I said, the Atlas and the dual engine Centaur, exactly down the middle as you could get. Impressive. Again, unexpected. In our simulations, we didn't simulate that because spacecraft don't do that on launch. But this one did. And there's one thing we did find out on the Centaur launch, just from a physical standpoint, it has a little bit of a surge. And we were told after the fact that you can see that surge on the data, but you didn't think that we would be able to feel it. And of course, we were your first self-loading payload.
Yes, we were. Yes, you were.
Humans to fly on the Atlas and the dual engine Centaur. So we were the first to experience it, but that's one thing. And others sort of going, I'm like, Sonny, you feel like we got a surge. I hope that's normal.
Well, it is, but no, we didn't think you could.
But you didn't think we could. We could. And again, it wasn't disheartening. It was just different than what the Atlas was. And again, it was almost like rocking you to sleep. But still, right down the center, all the way to main engine cutoff. It was spectacular. I wish, that's one of those things that happen in spaceflight. There's many things that happen, experiences you see. There's camaraderie, things that you want to share with people that you can't. That's one of them as well. That launch, spectacular. I wish I could share it and the emotion and all of that together during those 14 minutes while we're under powered flight.
Well, we pride ourselves on our accuracy.
You were.
We wanted
exactly
you to have
dead
a good
on.
ride.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We scrubbed you a couple of times. I think it was worth the wait then, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Scrubs don't bother us.
Yeah.
I mean, you're ready. You've gone through everything. We're being full open, transparent, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing in a scrub that bothers you, because there's a certain type of, you want to purge everything out of your physical system. Yeah. And that, I'll use the term. There's an enema process that goes through. Sorry. We're full open here. And that's the only thing you go, oh, I got to do that again. Well, that's the only issue.
Sorry about that.
Everything else, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I'll tell you that it was a big deal for us to fly people. We've flown many, many times, and
we were the 100th launch of the Atlas.
You were the 100th launch,
yes, sir.
And that was fitting.
Yeah.
But all the launches we've done and all the success we've had doing launches and accuracy, something we pride ourselves on. For us, it was really different to fly you and Sonny.
Yes, sir.
Because it's just, a satellite won't shake hands with you. It doesn't have a family.
Right.
And,
you made it very clear that you understood that. And the whole process, because we had to human rate this rocket.
Oh, yeah.
And that was no trivial task. And going through that whole process, y'all made it very clear that was a big importance to you.
So we were never designed as a human.
Right.
We didn't contemplate human flight when Atlas was designed and built.
Exactly.
So you helped us do that.
It's something you mentioned that because there was I think it was 2008. Sometimes the years get kind of mumbled, but I believe it was 2008. Myself and Mike Bueno, another astronaut, we were part of the team that were assessing could we use the Atlas, the Delta IV Heavy. We were looking at many different options to launch humans into space. This was the fledgling thoughts of the commercial crew program.
Yeah.
And we were on that initial team, and we came down to Florida, toured the pad, talked about it. I can tell you, Tory, I was skeptical at the time that we could actually get everything in line to make this happen.
Sure.
And I'll say significantly skeptical in those initial fledgling stages. But the professionalism, you weren't there at the time, but the professionalism of those that we were dealing with at the time was noticeable. I mean, they felt positive that we could do it. They gave us a roadmap to getting human rated. And over the course of the next decade and a half, we did that. We stepped through those processes. Again, your leadership, you came in and took the helm of that. And we got to the point where wow, this is not only doable, this is probably going to be really good to use this and go this route to get humans into space. And like I said, that first launch, wow. amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I felt a little pressure in those scrubs. I'll just
I'm
tell
sure
you.
you did.
I didn't know about the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about where the pressure came from, but there was a little bit of pressure.
Sure.
And, my attitude was, we haven't flown people before.
Right.
And, the first thing was a fluttering valve. You remember
and
that?
that's something about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've launched on a couple of spacecraft before.
Mm-hmm.
We had done some dry runs where we climb in, strap in, do all that, training, getting ready. But the day of launch, we get in and the spacecraft has got a little flutter. I'm like, wow, we've never been on a loaded Atlas Centaur, combination to go into space. I guess this is normal.
Yeah.
Y'all knew it at the time, but we're getting in. I'm strapping in. We don't have that information at the time. So I'm like, wow, this is different. It was different.
It was. We'd seen it before.
Right.
But it was not something that happened very often.
Right.
And I'll put it this way. I'm not normally involved in whether we scrub or not. We have such a structured process.
Right.
And you know how we do it. Anybody can call, hold, and that's it. And then if we run out of time, it's a scrub, or if we don't think we understand it. But for your missions, I was there.
Right.
And I was involved in that decision and the next one, because it's just a different thing. Mm-hmm. And, there's learning to be had from that, but we'll apply that learning the next time when we have thoughtfully considered it and we think we understand it thoroughly. When we're in the heat of the moment, we're not taking a chance with
There
you
was
guys.
no need to. It would have been fine from all we learned after the fact.
Yeah.
It would have been no issue, but in the heat of the moment, there's many of those decisions in human spaceflight we make that are not what you desire to do, but it's what you should do.
Exactly.
And even if it turns out that you didn't need to do it, it's still better to make those decisions.
Yeah. And, there are things where you've got to make decisions in the moment.
Right.
That's one of the reasons having people involved is so important.
Absolutely.
You've got your Navy astronaut wings there. You are a hell of a pilot.
I do. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. These are, there's a lot of work that goes into getting your naval aviator pilot wings. And so I flew a pair of these. These are Navy astronaut pilot wings. And it's because it's astronaut wings because it has the astronaut symbol in the center.
Right.
That's what sets it apart. And one gift I wanted to give my daughters, long after I'm gone, is a pair of real gold wings that I flew in space for them. I haven't given them to them yet. They don't know about it yet. When they see this podcast, they're going to know. But that's something I have for them.
How long do you need us to delay this airing?
No, it's okay. It's okay. They're older now. It's time for them to know. But even my brothers, I flew a ring that wrapped as a wing wrapped as a ring for my brother, my dad, and my wife as well. Just a little memento because these signify a lot of work, not just by me, but sacrifice by my family. And also, being able to get on the pointy end, like I said, it's sacrifice and work and passion by thousands of people around the nation. So these wings mean a lot for a lot of reasons. Yeah. I appreciate you pointing those out.
Well, and the decision thing, we want to make all our decisions ahead of time so that the ones that are being made in the heat of the moment are only those.
Right.
And we count on really skilled people like you to help
us.
Well,
that's something I think, I'm a praying man. I think you know that. The one thing that I prayed others prayed as well is that, Lord, help us find all the problems.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that ever because we're humans, we're frail, we don't do things perfectly, we can't. And Lord, what we don't find, give us the ability in our preparation to handle it. And that's what I think is in human spaceflight and also in non-human spaceflight. Yeah. It's the same thing. We train, we prepare, we get ready. We want to find it all. What we don't find, we're going to be ready, and our ops team and our ops products to handle whatever happens best we can. So, yeah.
So it was like that, and we got you up there.
Indeed, and I wish there was like a video that I could have turned to and said how spectacular it was in the moment and shared the emotion in the moment. It was that significant. I mean, like I said, as I look back to 25 years, I've been in the astronaut corps.
Oh, wow.
And there's many memories that I have. I have photos of things that bring back memories. I've got a photo that I show in a presentation that shows the launch plume. I don't know how you took it, but it's a launch plume all the way up. I'm guessing we're up at close to 50,000 feet. But somehow this time lapse has the launch plume all the way up. And that's one of my favorite photos of any photo I have from all those memories. because of what that launch signified. The first launch of a new spacecraft with humans on board, and we don't get to space to test the spacecraft, to do any of that we don't get there. And the method in which we got there and the precision and all, spectacular. I've said it several times, I know. But it was that impactful of a career, 25 years, that culminated in that, was one of the pinnacles, the high points of that 25 years that I've spent doing this in this job.
Oh, that's important to us.
Well, it's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, your first flight is significant. Flying the space shuttle, and I'll tell you, I'll compare it to it's like a Cadillac. It's big, and it's roomy, and it's capable. And we go and we launch. The Soyuz is more like one of those dune buggies that you see in racers in the desert, that's doing all that. Yeah. Capable, sturdy, firm. Atlas Centaur, it's a sports car. Yeah. It's precision. I mean, a sports car, well, it has to be, right? A sports car has to be precise in its maneuverability, and especially you talk about some of these really high-performing sports cars that are in races and the precision they have. That's what an Atlas Centaur is. I mean, it was exactly like that. Just amazing.
Well, that's really cool to hear you say that, because that's how I think about it.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. Having written it, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So what did you prefer? Would you rather fly on the space shuttle if we still had the orbiter, or something like an Atlas?
I'm grateful for all of the experiences. I am grateful. But if we're going to go out further beyond, we need to have precision in each phase of flight. Yes. And we can't get perfection.
Oh, no.
We know that,
Yep.
But that's our goal, right? We don't set a lower goal just because we can't achieve it. Perfection's our goal. We keep pressing for that. And we're going to need that in each phase of flight. And certainly the first phase, getting there, you got to get to space before you can do anything else. Yeah. And we need to maintain that precision and that attention to detail. The small, minute, insignificant details are significant. There are no insignificant details.
No, not in rocketry, not in space.
And that's the mindset that we have to have going forward. And I think if we keep doing what we're doing, from ULA standpoint anyway, at least based on this one flight experience, we'll get there. We're going to be there.
Yes, we will.
Yes, sir.
And, the thing about it nowadays, we're flying more often. We're going, routinely to the ISS.
Right.
But it's not routine. The rocket part of it, a rocket is just an incredibly complex and unimaginably powerful machine.
People don't realize there's thousands of moment by moment by moment details that are taking place on a rocket launch that have to go right every time.
Every time.
They don't realize that.
Nope.
And that's okay. That's not in the business to realize, but we have to realize it.
Yes, we do.
And we have to focus on those.
And never take it for granted. Never get complacent.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and Atlas, like Vulcan, think of Atlas as a smaller version of Vulcan, but it was designed for those very precise missions. Mm-hmm. And we call it a high energy architecture. So its marquee mission is direct injection to geosynchronous orbit.
Right.
So 22,000 miles out.
Mm-hmm.
Accuracy is everything. The ability to have the flexibility to have these big long coasts, that wasn't part of your mission, but that's all built into it. And I could imagine it was a little bit difficult getting our heads around that human rating initially, because its history is as an ICBM. That's its heritage.
Right.
And that's part of where some of these things come from. But it's turned out to be pretty good for flying people.
No doubt. Yes, sir. And, the other missions you do, we were talking yesterday, you and I, just to elaborate just very quickly. I mean, we're launching from north 28 degrees latitude, and yet you're going geosync, which is kind of an equatorial mission, and you've got to get there. And that is not trivial to do that and make it all the way up to 22,000 feet. And all the details of that, to get all of that trajectory, shaping and all, you're changing your inclination and all, and that is not trivial. But that's something else that this rocket can do. And like I say, again, haven't written it, I can see why. I can see how.
Well, it's funny, most people don't appreciate that a small change in inclination takes so much more energy than even a really large change in altitude.
Right.
But as an astronaut and a pilot, you have to understand orbital mechanics, and it's got to be just intuitive to you.
You do.
You did some flying on that capsule. What was that like?
We did. Well, it was great. Let me just, before I say that, just on this note about change in inclination, the space shuttle, once it got into orbit, if we're going to the space station, it's 51.6 degrees north
Right.
and south inclination. So you're orbiting with respect to,
Which was a
north-south latitude.
compromise, so we could be international.
Yes, exactly. Because the Russians launch, they don't want to fly over China. So
Right.
we had to go 51.6 because of their launch site and the way all those stipulations there. But anyway, to change the inclination, once the space shuttle got to orbit, 1 degree would have taken half the propellant that it carried.
Oh my gosh.
That's
wow.
because you're going 17,500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So change it 1 degree took half the propellant.
Yeah, great
So
example.
we couldn't do that. So that's why, when you're shaping a trajectory, before you get to those high speeds, you've got to do that early. And I know all that and orbital mechanics and everything that plays into that. So yeah, orbital mechanics, Starliner was amazing. I've never given a handling radius quality of a 1. I didn't get asked this question. The Atlas Centaur would have gotten a 1. Again, I wasn't on the controls, but that's what handling qualities means. You're on the controls. But based on the performance and the precision, it was right on all the way. It's a 1. Day 1 for Starliner, I've never given a 1, but I was tempted. I gave a 1.5 and 2s, which is rare for flying aircraft.
Yeah.
You're always doing handling qualities, ratings, evaluation.
Oh, yeah.
You need level 1, which is a 4 or better, because it means you have acceptable control. What you're doing, how much compensation you're adding in, it's acceptable. And you give different ratings on that. And it goes all the way up to 10, which is uncontrollable. Yeah. So level 1 is what we're always seeking for human spaceflight. Starliner performed that way. Precision, precisely, was amazing. Day 1, we had a multitude of tests that we did to certify the spacecraft for future crews, the different capabilities, and various types of burns, manual control, and various type of scenarios. Simulating being backup control, which was our fail-safe mode.
Right.
But you're not directly to the jets from the controllers, but you almost are. You're going through a lookup table. It's very different than going through a flight management computer that's picking whatever thruster to fire to make it balanced. So the precision day 1 was amazing. That was not the case on day 2. We know that. Yeah. And the things that happened there. And you want me to go into that discussion, I can share some of that as well if you'd like. Day 2, so we're rendezvousing, and it's an automated rendezvous.
Yeah.
And we're coming up step by step doing our various burns. Mm-hmm. And when we start coming up underneath the space station, we lost a thruster. Now, as the commander, I'm not terribly concerned. It's always concerning to lose a thruster.
Sure.
But we had lost several thrusters on OFT and on OFT2. This is a service module because you've got thrusters on the service module and thrusters on the crew module. These aren't crew module thrusters. These are service module thrusters. And we'd lost a couple. So we lost one. Not terribly concerning. We always build in fault tolerance to our systems.
Right.
At least dual fault tolerant. And for the thruster we lost, it was an aft firing thruster. It was a starboard aft firing thruster. And we're still 2 fault tolerant with that down. So we're coming up, we're rounding up, we're coming from, if the station's going this way, and we're coming up from below, we're going to go out in front of it, and we're going to eventually dock from the front. So we're coming up below, and as we're starting to approach, getting close to the velocity vector, that's called, we'll call that the V-bar, that's how we determine it.
Right.
As we get close to the V-bar, we lose a second thruster. Now it's like, oh my, that's not good. Because now we have lost fault tolerance. Now we're down to single fault tolerant for control. The thruster we lost the second was another aft firing thruster on the bottom. So we have, they're all orthogonal. You've got top, bottom, starboard, and port. Little dog houses, we call them, with thrusters that point in, 7 thrusters at each position that point in different ways for different types of control.
Right. Yeah.
And so we've lost 2, a starboard and a bottom aft firing thruster. And I'm thinking, oh my.
So you can still fly the bird, but there's but we don't have redundancy anymore.
We got one, we're down to single fault tolerant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe we need to try a little manual control here. I don't know what's taking place. We don't know what's causing it. And then the ground says that we're going to try to get these thrusters back and take manual control.
Okay.
This is once we finally get up and we're on the V-bar. So I take manual control. As we start thinking through a process, can we get these thrusters back? We're single fault tolerant. We're still good.
Yeah.
But if we lose more,
you
might want to get some back in case, because we don't know why these, again, aft firing.
Right.
Then we lost our third aft firing thruster. I'm on the controls. Now we're 0 fault tolerant to 6 degree of freedom control. Just for your listeners, 6 degree of freedom. You've got attitude, you've got pitch, roll, and yaw. That's 3 degrees of freedom in attitude. Then you've got translation, forward and aft, up and down, left and right. 3 more degrees of freedom. So you put all that together, your attitude and position, 6 degrees of freedom.
So you got all that in your head.
All that in my head.
We're down. You're thinking about, the craft itself, because we don't have redundancy anymore.
Right.
And this is a space application, not an airplane. So you're doing orbital mechanics.
I am.
So what is all that like?
So the attitude of the space station is canted down a little bit in this rendezvous profile.
Yeah.
If I'm on directly in front of the center line of the space station, I'm actually lower in altitude than the space station itself.
Right.
Orbital mechanics says if I'm lower in a lower orbit, even if it's a couple of feet, I'm faster than what's above it.
Yeah.
If I'm above it, I'm slower.
Right.
So I'm thinking through all this. The control of the spacecraft at 0 fault tolerant was not as precise. It was still controllable, but it wasn't as precise. And I'm thinking, okay, I still got ins and outs. I can still do it all. It's just not precision, exact. I couldn't hit a specific number on the dial and hold it. And then we lost the 4th thruster. So now we have lost, and we've lost 2 starboard and 2 bottom. Mm-hmm. Now we've lost the ability to translate in the forward aft. And the rest of the attitudes are very sluggish, especially the pitch and yaw of the spacecraft.
Yeah.
So we're 260 meters. My task is to hold the range. Mm-hmm. At 0 fault tolerant, we cannot try to dock. The flight rules prohibit it. We can come in as close as 200 meters. Yeah. But I'm thinking we're going to have to waive these flight rules. I need to maintain my position, but I also need to maintain my attitude because we have sensors that look at the space station. Yeah. Cameras, IR sensors, LiDAR, and if you lose the lock because your attitude drifts out of where they can see the station, then the automated rendezvous is out. We're not going to be able to do that. Even if it just drops for a little bit. Getting that all back is just we're not going to be able to do that. Yeah. And plus, I also know that we can't legally dock. We didn't have this discussion with the ground because I know they're busy. They know we're busy maintaining control. Yeah, and going on. There's no reason for me to interject or ask or do because I know they're working and because we've done multiple simulations. Yeah. Now, like I said before, you pray you find out everything and you pray that you're prepared for what you don't find. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that was an answered prayer because, Ray Biggins was our rendezvous officer, our primary rendezvous officer. He is a volunteer fireman. And he often, more than once, would say, hey, Butch, I'm coming off shift at 5:30 Saturday morning. Let's go to the sim. Meet me at the sim. Yeah. So we'd meet at the sim at 6 on a Saturday. And we would do manual control. Various scenarios. And
so practice flying.
Practice. I mean, over 1,000 hours. I mean, you think about that. I mean, 40-hour work week. We're talking weeks and weeks over years of just doing stuff. Trying to just practice anything we could conceive of and different ways to rendezvous in different scenarios and all of this. And we just went through it because we wanted to be prepared, right? Because in this business, as you know, you have to be committed. Yeah. You can't, this isn't a job. This is a passion. And if you're in this business, that has to be your mindset. Mm-hmm. And it has to portray into your family because they've got to be supportive of this.
Yes, they do. They make sacrifices too.
They do indeed. Yes, sir. And so all that together, that commitment breeds your preparation. And the preparation is because there's a great deal of responsibility in all that we do. So anyway, so all of that, loss of 6 degree of freedom control, very sluggish in all attitudes, got to maintain my position, got to maintain my attitude. And then they say, and we need you to go hands off.
Wow, now there's an act of trust.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Okay.
So you've got to, we're going to go free drift because they're going to send a signal to a thruster that's failed. Yeah. And they're going to see the response. The GNC, Guidance Navigation Control.
So they need you hands off so they can measure that response to that command.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So you've got to first make sure you're not drifting. Yep. In any attitude, You got to make sure you're not drifting away or in. You got to maintain your position with a spacecraft that you really can't do that with. And this orbital mechanics, I'm thinking orbital mechanics real time. What if I make this input? If I go in, will I get a firing from the top and the remaining aft firing thrusters and the port? If I do, it's going to pitch me down and yaw me right.
Right.
So if I do that, I got to go up left. And what are my other control inputs? They tell me they want me to make a football. Ray sends this up over through the capsule communicator, the Capcom, and I know what that means. Basically, you set up where you go above. That way, you're slower. You go forward, and then you go below, and you're faster, and you kind of set this up.
Okay, so you're making that oval shape.
Make an oval shape. That's over the course of a full orbit, and I know that.
Yeah.
But I know what he means by make a football. It's not easy, and I wasn't able to do it as quickly as they would have liked it, just because a spacecraft is not performing to where that's simple to do. But anyway, I finally got it to that point, hands off. They send some test signals, and we got some jets back. Now, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure, they thought we got 3 of the 4 jets back. Mm-hmm. I didn't get that in the communication. I thought we only got 2 back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking we're back to single fault tolerant, but not...
Which is better, but not dual fault tolerant. But realize these thrusters we got back are not fully performing. Okay.
So they were taken out by the computer system because they went below a certain threshold of perceived thrust. And so the computer said, you're not performing, take you out.
Oh, okay.
Again, trying to minimize and that's something I've always preached is calm brevity. We preach that in flying because you've got combat, you've got all kinds of talking. You don't want to be screaming on the radio all the time. Calm brevity. And so calm brevity I always preach. So I didn't want to say anything I didn't need to say. They said, bring it in 200 meters. We're good now to dock, but if we lose another thruster, we're back to 0. We can't, by the flight rules, dock.
So it's a good thing we were flying the footballs.
Exactly.
And bringing the thrusters back online.
Exactly. Gotcha. Doing all this again, moral mechanics, mentally, all this stuff. So again, maintain your distance, maintain your attitude, send the test signals, or the test firings to these jets, and we got 2 of those back. We got the top one and the starboard one. B1A3 on the bottom is the only one we didn't get back. It was not performing. It was not doing well. Several times in simulations, there was occasionally a couple of times where, as we went through the processes, we went from automation to manual into backup. And that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
And I want your listeners and people watching.
That's what the simulator is for.
That's what you do. You're trying to find stuff. We help the ground operate the spacecraft. That's what the crew does. But when it comes to flying it, the ground helps us to fly it.
Right.
And there's a difference. At this point, we're flying it. And when I knew they were eventually going to say, let's give it back to auto, because that's why we're trying to maintain the attitude, right?
Right.
And I went through the whole process in my mind. The failures we are seeing do not appear to be software failures like we'd had before in the simulations. Right. It seems like, based on how these are happening, and they're all aft firing jet or thrusters, it seems like this is a hardware issue. Mm. And if these thrusters are performing enough to where I'm able to control it again, and I was, I'll give it back to auto. And that's ultimately what we did.
Okay.
We gave it back to auto, and of course the rest, we came in and we didn't have any more failures. And we pretty much expeditious. As a matter of fact, they told me, because part of the normal process was that I would get some handling qualities evaluation on the V-bar out in front of the space station.
Right.
And I would go through 5 to 10 minutes of just attitude deviations, do a little bit of translation, just to get a handling quality
just
feel.
Evaluating how it's doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was part of the standard process. So once we got those thrusters back, they said, you can go ahead and do that. Let's dock. So docking
you're
was
pretty
really
busy doing all this.
Yes, sir.
And you're having to think through it, and you're having to use your pilot skills and feel it. And is Sunny helping you with any of this, or are
Sunny
you really
was
on your
fantastic.
own? Okay.
I mean, she can't physically get on the controls. One of the things that Sunny did that was great, she was working the procedures. There's a procedure for getting these thrusters back. Part of the procedure was that we went into inertial mode.
Right.
And I'm like, why are we going into inertial mode? And that's really about the gist of the conversation we had. She's working the procedure. When we did it the second time, this is when we were setting up to do these test firings. When we did it the second time, I even said it. Why are we going into inertial mode? Well, they told us to go LVLH.
Yeah.
So inertial, you're pointing at an object way out in space. LVLH, you're trying to stay in the same plane, the same attitude of your orbit around the Earth.
Right.
Yes. So local, vertical, local, horizontal. Anyway, so and she's working the procedure. She was wonderful. She was the one making the calls on the radio because I am focused. And it was really crew coordination and great teamwork through the whole process. And not just with her and I, but us in the ground as well.
Yeah.
Us in the ground as well.
So it's a team effort.
Indeed.
It's a flight test, and we had a test pilot in there, and that's why.
Well, I think, we go about it the right way. We put people in positions, and not just me in the cockpit, but the people, the A-team was the ones that were on console that day. And honestly, I attribute them to getting us docked. Because if they hadn't come up with the plan, and Ed Van Sice, who was the Rendezvous flight director, and working the team on the ground. And I, after the fact, we asked them, how was it? They said it was like a sim. Nobody was nervous. Nobody was, talking over and
right.
It was just exactly as if it was a sim.
Well, it's an interesting thing when you're in control, doing that control function on the ground. It's a little bit like when we're working through our counts, and anomalies come up and we solve them, we evaluate them. Sometimes we scrub, lots of times we don't. We get them fixed.
Yeah.
And it's I'll say it's a personality. So we try people out on console, and they're all great engineers. They wouldn't be given the opportunity if they weren't.
Right.
But sometimes people have the personality for that situation, and sometimes they don't. So it's more than your skills and your training. It's your ability to be calm and just work through the problem.
This is right.
Do it as a team.
I describe it like this. I'm really glad you brought that up. We cannot do this business without engineers. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. We cannot do this business without operators.
Yeah.
It's impossible. In many cases, people start out as engineers and we bring them up, they're trainable, and they try to get them into an operations type of mindset. And not everybody is able to make that transition. That's not negative on them.
No.
They're fabulous engineers. That's their thing. That's what they do well. We got to have you in this process.
Can't do it without that.
Can't do it without it. Wouldn't be up to ops if it wasn't for the engineering that goes on.
Right.
But someone that can't make that transition, it's okay. It's okay. Because ops is a whole different ballgame. It is. And some, the good Lord wired us all different.
Oh, yeah.
So there's, that's in the astronaut corps, same thing. Everywhere across the board in this business. It's not just, anywhere there's operations, there's engineers that are fleeting up to do those jobs. And some of them do it and some of them don't. And that's fine, those that don't.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I said, the job that the engineers do is why we are able to operate to begin with. Yeah.
These are some of the most amazing feats of engineering there is.
Amazing. It truly is. It truly is.
So we had a success. We got the capsule back. We got our learning. Mm-hmm. Next time we fly that thing, Atlas will do a perfect job, and that vehicle's going to fly perfectly too.
Indeed. So that's what a test flight's about, right?
Yeah.
So there's not a single test flight. I heard it was one of the national news broadcasts. I saw a clip from it, and it said, "Well, the pilots said they know they're going to find things. Why did they even get on to begin with?"
Because that's how you find them.
Right. See, that's someone that doesn't understand. And I don't poo-poo that person. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't understand this business.
Yeah. You
cannot build the perfect aircraft, the perfect spacecraft.
Nope.
It is impossible. We can't do that. Even if we take something that is tried and proven, we try to do something almost similar to that with some tweaks here and there, that one's not going to be perfect either.
No, never.
That's the business. That's the difficulty of this business. So we know we're going to find issues. We know we're going to have issues. We know we're going to have hardware failures. We know there's going to be glitches in our software that is not perfect, that we have not, even though we've run multiple Monte Carlos, millions of runs, there's some little thing in the deep on the software code that is going to bite us.
Well, that's why we put a Butch Wilmore on the controls the first time.
There you go.
Well,
so
like
that's just the nature of it.
Well, we were talking a minute ago about, you try and make all your decisions that you can ahead of time.
You do.
So that when there's something going on in the heat of the moment, you can be focused. Exactly. It's the same thing. We test and test and test because we want to find as many things on the ground as we can. Mm-hmm. But eventually you got to fly.
You do.
And you're going to find some things the first time.
You do. And we did. And that's why the next time it goes, I said this a couple times when I got back, we got to find out what happened with the hardware. We got to find out why it happened with the hardware. We got to find out why it happened with our processes. And once we find out the what, the why, then we go through and it enables us to rectify those issues.
Yeah.
And that's changes in processes. Sometimes that goes into changes in culture. Sometimes that goes into, like there's changes in the details, the minute details of whatever the issue that you're working on at the time.
Yeah.
And because this is a learning process. So we're not going to go beyond and further and deeper into space unless we do these baby steps now. I think about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I wasn't a huge fan until my oldest daughter, as she grew, she's a huge fan. She knows everything about Star Wars. So
My daughter
right?
too. Yeah.
So I've seen a lot more Star Wars than I probably would have, and I appreciate a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there's things in Star Wars, like what's that big Dorito things that the Empire flies? Looks like a Dorito.
The battle cruiser.
The big Dorito. It comes up and it comes out of hyperspace and boom, and it stops above the planet and just hovers there. You can't do that.
No.
Gravity's going to pull you right in.
George Lucas, brilliant storyteller, filmmaker, little thin on the orbital mechanics.
Exactly. The orbital mechanics do not allow that. But we see that and we understand that and that brings home. I mean, we can do a lot of great things. We can our imaginations run. But this business, Tory, better than anybody, it is physics and engineering.
And it's unforgiving.
It's unforgiving. If we can imagine great things, and maybe technology, we get to some of those things we can imagine, but if the technology at the time is what it is, and if the physics and engineering don't support that dream, you can't do it.
That's right.
It doesn't mean you don't keep striving to do those things and learning and growing, but we got to go with what we know and what we understand.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
The physics are what they are.
They are, indeed.
And the other thing about it is, it's such a team effort, and it relies on people being honest and frank and transparent. That's another thing I think they don't have always in other industries or other endeavors that sometimes confuse people who are looking in, because we're talking about everything all the time.
Right.
No secrets.
Exactly.
And the more, the better. But you also have to understand that people are sharing everything with you. Don't overreact.
Mm-hmm. True. Right? Very true. Yes, sir.
Yeah. In fact, the more data you get in our world, the more comfortable you are.
True. Data is, it's the biblical background for what we have. Data tells all. It's like if you're playing football. I got a friend that uses a lot of football analogies. He said, "Hey, the tape don't lie. It don't lie." Right. It's the same thing with the data. The data is true. Data is factual, and you got to go with what the data says. You got to go where the data leads you,
whether you like it or not.
And sometimes we get in this mode where we think the data is leading me somewhere, but somebody says, "No. The data don't say that. You got to interpret that data correctly," and that's important as well. And that's why why we need the team, just like you mentioned. That's why the team comes together. Yeah.
So, what an amazing career! But now you've just retired from NASA. So, what's next?
Retired from NASA. I appreciate that caveat. I retired from NASA. Tory, I didn't want to leave. Nobody does. I mean, but 25 years is long enough. It's time to move on, see what else the good Lord's got out there. Other people coming on and taking on the roles that we've, myself and others. I didn't plan to be there that long, but just the way it kind of played out. And so what's next? That's a great question. We will see. I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to do. But there's a lot of things I probably shouldn't do. And right now, since this is all new, I'm just letting it go, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, you deserve an opportunity after not 25 years, but your whole career, a lot longer than that.
For 40 years, I've been in flying and testing and doing all this. Yes, sir.
So
on that, I look back and blessed, just so blessed I've got experiences that as a kid I never even dreamed of, never even fathomed, and now those are experiences in my memories and pictures and other things, and just blessed and very privileged to have served our nation. This is something I wanted to do, starting out with serving my country. That was really what drove me into the military to begin with, as I was finishing my college years.
Yeah.
And just I wanted to serve my country as best I could with the, I had an electrical engineering degree. I wanted to use that foundation in some fashion. And I thought maybe flight test one day, maybe. And just the way it orchestrated out, and just a privilege to be able to finally go down some of those paths and get, the Lord gave me some desires in my heart and be able to do some of those things. And just privileged all the way. I've had some great mentors early on that told me early on that, you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve this. And you need to make sure that is your mindset going through the life. I didn't get that. Hey, I should get, no, you don't deserve anything. Just privileged, but what you do are able to take part in and play in. And certainly, oh my, Tory, I never dreamed when I got selected to test pilot program, you think, will I ever do the first thing in an airplane? Whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Just a first in an airplane. Never thinking I would fly an airplane for the first time. Never fathoming that I would fly a spacecraft for the first time.
Yep.
And here we are, and a privilege to do it all, and a privilege to be in that seat when it wasn't going well. A privilege that I had people around me that drove me. Ray Biggins is the one who said, let's go and meet on Saturday morning. It wasn't me saying, Ray, let's go meet on Saturday. It was him. It was him pushing me.
Yeah.
And just grateful for those type of individuals through 25 years at NASA and 40 years, serving the nation. The individuals that pushed me and drove me, my mother, getting a master's degree. I'd started my master's degree before I left my school, before I entered the Navy. Didn't know I could delay my entry date, and then she said, you promised you'd finish that master's degree. I'm like, Mom, I don't remember promising. Okay, I'll try. So anyway, just people driving, pushing you along the way, and just so grateful and so privileged to have been able to serve. And even to be here now with you and sharing some of these historic history memories of mine, and I'm just grateful.
Well, and it is a privilege. So few people get to do work that is so much larger than themselves.
Yes, sir.
And make a difference for so many other people.
Yeah. And I think our human spaceflight program and just spaceflight program in general does that. Indeed.
Yeah, I agree. So, through all of that, is there any one experience you had, not just as an astronaut, but all of it, that really stands out in your mind?
Oh, my. One experience. Can I have a couple?
Yeah, you can have a couple. Many as you want.
Professional. The first time the main gear touched down on the USS Lexington in a T2.
Yeah.
It wasn't I didn't have my hook down. It was just a touch and go, a planned touch and go.
Yeah.
That was pretty significant. The day that I got the phone call that I had been selected to the Astronaut Corps was significant. And I'm talking professionally now.
Yeah.
I can tell you, operating from the pointy end of the spear, flying off aircraft carriers, there wasn't I had 663 landings, 226 at night, by the way. You remember all of those.
Wow. I'll bet. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Well, every time I'd go off the catapult, and the catapult, you're going from 0 to 180 in 1.8 seconds, roughly.
Yeah.
Crazy. In an F-18.
Yep.
And every time I'd go off the catapult, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Wow. Just the privilege to do this and experience this, and the responsibility, never dreaming, because it's a huge responsibility, 40 million plus aircraft and all the armament you have. And then the day that I became the commander of Starliner, even over the experience of the flights and all.
Sure.
Because, for a whole career, you're pointing towards command. The Navy does that from day one.
Yep.
They're getting you ready to command. And because of the flow of my progress going through my career, I never had that opportunity really to command and be in charge of something, just because of how timing, get selected for the NASA and all.
Sure.
But here I was the commander of Starliner, with that responsibility, and it was quite a few details getting to the launch pad when we finally did, and a lot of direction, a lot of leadership responsibility. Just to be honest, is that from my part, and the honor of having that position, that my nation entrusted me to do that for a first flight of a spacecraft. This is only the first flight in the history of NASA.
Oh yeah.
And the nation, trusted me to be that guy to do that. It was humbling. Truly humbling. So it's not really, I got memories from spaceflight that are pictures on the wall and videos and such that I can go to, but it's those things that were kind of firsts, if you will, where, the humbling realization that your nation trusts you.
Yeah.
And this nation, the greatest nation that's ever existed, and to be in those positions, it's just a true honor. Yeah. So thanks for letting me have a couple.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All you want.
Yeah.
So back to space for a minute. Now you got a little bit of distance, right? You've just retired. You've got that amazing career behind you. If you were to imagine like 10, 20 years ahead in space, what would excite you the most?
I would hope that we stay on a course that is within our bounds of experience and focused on a mission that the physics and engineering are focused on the mission at hand, not pulling from other things. Because I think historically we've had so many programs that have come and gone because we weren't focused on the mission and starting from that physics and engineering baseline. I would hope that that's where we are. So 20 years from now, those dreams of going to Mars, which is really, really hard.
Oh, super
Mars
hard.
is terribly hard, difficult to do for many reasons across the board. That we would at least be on a path to get there and get to the surface. I think it's very difficult to get to the surface of Mars for many reasons. Certainly to get there, you don't go there to get there. You go there to get there and come back.
Right.
And that makes it even harder. So it'd be difficult to do that in the near term, but I would hope in 20 years we're either close or just on the fringe of getting there, because that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
Back to the moon, going on beyond our little eco solar system that we have with the moon and our planet, going beyond that into Mars and other planets is the challenge, and it's a huge challenge. But let me say this, if you don't mind. So people would realize that, say, well, it costs so much money. It's going to take tens of billions and blah, blah. You're right. It is. But you got to realize that money is not the handful of dirt that you get when you get to the surface of Mars.
Yeah.
It is infrastructure all the way through. It is livelihood for welders that are welding the rockets together, the people that are in the coal mines providing the power for the facilities. It goes through all of our labor force within our nation, and it's a benefit. That's where the money truly is spent.
Yes, it is.
It's for the labor force throughout our nation, like the entire labor force in our nation, which is a benefit. We've seen it time and again.
Great
for our
high-quality
nation.
jobs.
Exactly.
It pushes technology forward
It does.
in a general way that benefits all kinds of industries.
Exactly right. And that's the thing I think that most people don't think about and don't realize the big picture of what these type of national programs do and the benefit it provides, even in the real time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I also look forward to the development of resources that are in our local area.
Yes, sir.
Because we're here on the planet. There's a lot of talk about, consumption of resources and trying to live a smaller footprint. Right. And when you're in that mindset, just think through the other end of that.
Right.
You're imagining living smaller and smaller lives until we run out of resources and civilization collapses.
Right.
That's kind of a terrible future.
It is indeed.
That sucks. I don't like that.
It does indeed.
And yet right there, a week from where we are natural resources that are in an imagination-defying abundance.
Yes.
And everything we're doing in space and all of our human exploration, that is all taking us in a direction of being able to tap into that.
Indeed.
And that's what I meant in the intro about changing the destiny of our species.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
One from
wisely said.
The candle out to the, literally the sky is not the limit.
Right. Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. And I think you think about the future. I've been a proponent, and there's many who have, about including our nuclear technology in our space race and nuclear propulsion, nuclear power.
Oh, absolutely.
If we are going to succeed in the deep resources or deep locations in space, that has to be a part of our future, or I don't think we can do it without it.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
And, you touched on Mars. Mars is so close.
Right.
And so hard.
So hard.
We've done 20 missions to Mars, America has. We've flown them, so we're very familiar.
Right.
We're it.
Right.
Hopefully soon there'll be more joining that club. But, as 26 months between opportunities. Mars is on the wrong side of the sun. You're not going.
Exactly right.
7 to 9 months to get there. Nuclear propulsion is very attractive to shorten that down and put us there more.
It is indeed.
And I believe, moon is on the way. And I don't mean literally on the way. I mean, this is such a bigger job. A lunar mission is 3 days out, 3 days back, however much time you want to spend there.
Right.
You're committed. When we send people to Mars, This is 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
And you can't just change your mind halfway there and come back.
You can't. You cannot.
So we got to be sure we know how to do it, and we know how for people to be safe and all the rest of it.
Right. And if you're going there with low impulse nuclear propulsion, you are speeding up halfway there. So you're going to be going really, really fast.
Oh yeah.
And then you're going to be slowing down the rest of the way there.
Yeah,
so you can get to an orbital velocity. So yeah, it's a tough one, but it's something that's, it's out there that we can do. We have the capability. We have the technology to do it if we will harness it and put it together, and the team comes together to make it happen. Yeah.
And we are going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right, we're probably getting the high sign, so it's time for the lightning round.
Lightning round, okay.
Are you ready?
Let's bring it.
All right.
All right.
So we always start with Kirk or Spock.
Oh. Trained for the pointy end of the spear, trained for leadership from day one. It's got to be Kirk.
Yeah. Of course. What else would a fighter pilot say?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So now we're going to switch to movies. Right Stuff or Interstellar?
Right Stuff. It's real.
Of course. Absolutely. Atlantis or your F-18?
I have to caveat that one. Atlantis, amazing. Yeah. There are some highs in this business.
Yeah.
But I say this for the hundreds of thousands of troops that are out there right now, operating from or training for the pointy end of the spear.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it in all of what we do, because you are actively every day involved in processes that are benefit protection of our nation. It's not much different in spaceflight. You're involved in it every day, but the high points from an astronaut standpoint is, you launch and you do this, though you're working. But personal satisfaction, day to day, there's nothing like serving your country when you're going in potentially into harm's way. And I've got huge respect for those individuals to do that.
Oh,
so because of that, I'd have to say, sorry, it's not so lightning in this one, but
it's all right.
It'd have to be F-18 for that reason.
Yeah.
But if I get one flight in each, you only let me fly once in an F-18 or once in Atlantis, I'm going Atlantis.
Understand that. All right, so I'll give you a related one, because you've landed on both of these. ISS or Big Ike?
I get one chance, I'm going to ISS. Because it is amazing. Big Ike, of course, is an aircraft carrier. CV-69, I believe.
Sounds right.
Which I've landed on many times. But yeah, ISS.
Okay,
it's unbelievable.
Then I'm going to try and make it harder then. All right.
Uh-oh.
Orbital reentry or a nighttime carrier landing? Which is more exciting?
There is no way that I can pick one or the other.
Oh, okay.
The challenge of landing on a boat at night and doing it well is a huge challenge. The excitement of re-entering the atmosphere is beyond words. So let me have an equal on that one.
Okay, you can have that. You can have that.
Thank you.
I'll give you that. I'll tell you, I landed on an aircraft carrier on a helicopter in broad daylight. I cannot imagine doing it at night in a moving airplane. Oh my God.
It is thrilling.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if these are different now that we've told all these stories, but test pilot or astronaut?
An astronaut that gets to do test.
There you go. You get both on that one.
So it'd have to be astronaut, because everything we do is new. I mean, there's so much acquisition, especially now. Yeah. Big acquisition. There's a small acquisition. Space station. There's new things all the time. Yeah. So astronaut, you get the best of both worlds. Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
This has been a really fun conversation.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, Tory. I really am.
Anytime. You can come back anytime you want.
And make sure your team, all of them are well aware of how amazing Atlas and Centaur were. I mean, it's a huge team. It's a lot of people, a team, right? We've said that many times. You don't have the experience that we had, Sonny and I had, without the team doing their work. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you.
Yes, sir.
And you are always welcome anywhere that ULA is. You can come to the factory, you can come out to the launch pad. Yeah. If you get to feeling like, geez, I just need a rocket fix, you let us know.
I'm an old country boy, and Tory, you don't make offers like that. Country boys take you up on it. So you're liable to hear from me.
Absolutely. No, we mean it.
You're liable to. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.